This is Business Morning, Friday, December the 6th. Let's cross over to my colleague Juliana Olayinka at our London studios. Thomas Cook was about 178-year-old when it collapsed a few weeks ago. But the echoes of that collapse, corporate collapse, is still ringing. Juliana, good morning. Welcome here. This was years ago, says The Dead Stays Dumb. That's one of the titles of James Harley Chase novels we read, junior highs, The Dead Stay Dumb. But it's like Thomas Cook is dead, but is now still speaking.
It is, Bosun. Good morning, by the way. And yes, Thomas Cook, which was the biggest corporate failure in British history, they collapsed on the 23rd of September. 9,000 jobs went down with the collapse and thousands of holiday makers were stranded. For 22,000 of those holiday makers, the misery, the Thomas Cook misery still continues because they were eligible for a refund within 60 days. And that 60-day expiry date is today. And unfortunately, the Civil Aviation Authority have said that they need more information from these customers. So about 66,000 people put in a claim, and we're hearing that the bulk of those customers, so 2/3 of them, will be getting their money by the end of today, just in time for Christmas, which is important. But thousands of others won't be able to. You know, the Civil Aviation Authority said that they are really trying to get the money to people, but they just need more information. So far, about £160 million has been paid back to customers who, of course, were left, some of them were left abroad for days and weeks, sitting at airports because of Thomas Cook's collapse. But yes, so the Civil Aviation Authority has asked customers to check their spam, check their email inbox this morning so they can get their money to them as soon as possible. And apparently, Bosun, there are about 40,000 people who still haven't claimed for their refund, and they will have until September 2020 to do so.
I just don't like corporate collapses. When a company as old as Thomas Cook goes down the drain, it leaves a lot of a bitter taste in the mouth of employees, of customers, and suppliers, and all of that. So corporate collapse is one of those very nasty businesses. If you remember Wall Street, 2008, 2009, with AIG and the rest of them, and Lehman Brothers and all of that. So, but again, if folks don't get their money, they will need to go through the end of the year into the new year by borrowing. But the Statistics Office in the UK says the level of household debts is increasing. Why and how?
Why? Gosh, it's easy to take out a loan in the UK. But look, you know, the Office for National Statistics has released this data quite importantly and timely, just because we're going to the polls next week. The economy is a key political battleground for all political parties. And what this information shows is that the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting themselves into serious debt. The average net debt in the UK per household is about £9,600. That's without the mortgage debt, which of course takes it up to a couple of £100,000. We found that the lion's share of people who are increasing their household wealth is in the southeast, so that's London and anything below here. But let me look at those numbers specifically. The net wealth of British households had surged 13% to £14.6 trillion. But yes, debt has increased by 4% to the tune of £1.3 trillion. The Office for National Statistics is saying or suggesting to people that you must shop around. There's no good, you know, just one gas company saying that they can, you know, take your energy bills, or a phone company saying that they can do this and that you must shop around. That reduces the debt. Also, as well, they're not happy really with just the trickle-down effect, that it seems to be the richest of society that are able to keep their wealth, where the poorest are struggling. So the top 11% of the wealth in the UK, their average household has increased by 20%, and the poorest increased by 3%. So overall, it seems to be quite a good figure. It shows that, you know, if you're living in the UK, you are getting wealthier, but it's the wealthiest, as we know, as a trend is all around the world.
Juliana, enough of that bad news. Thank you so much. I was just about to block my ears from hearing you, because £1.4 trillion. That's a whole lot. It's a Friday, and I thought we were going to have a very good TGIF. Now you're getting my mood, little butterflies moving around my stomach listening to those numbers as you're reading them out on the gap between the rich and the poor in the UK. But okay, so do you think we should listen to Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn later tonight, 8:30 p.m., dinner time? Will you be listening? Is there anything in what they're going to say on the BBC debate, live debate, their final face-off today? Will there be anything in there for economies, for traders, for investors, for analysts, or for households?
Bosun, there's everything for everybody. And yes, this will be the final televised head-to-head debate between the Prime Minister Boris Johnson, the leader of the opposition party, Jeremy Corbyn. We've been speaking about it during the week. The pound is on a 7-month high because they do feel as if the Tories could get that majority. So really, this debate is Boris Johnson's to lose. He has been winning and he has been leading over the polls for several weeks. But the Labour Party have been, getting in on the polls. And we know in 2017, Theresa May was leading and there was a hung parliament. So it's very important. We're expecting both of these figureheads to focus on the areas they're comfortable with. So with Boris Johnson, that's the Get Brexit Done slogan. And with Jeremy Corbyn, it will be the NHS. So all eyes will be glued on it. Last time, the debate a couple of weeks ago, Boris Johnson managed to steal it just a little bit, but he has been under scrutiny because he's been avoiding some really serious interviews recently. So tonight will be a chance for him to try and, prove others wrong. But yes, all to play for. Everybody will be watching it. We are in the final countdown.
Great. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday to all of you in the UK. I'm sitting down thousands of miles away here in front of my television. You are the one in the middle of that debate. Thank you so much, Juliana. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. But don't forget, 1:30, you're crossing over to Chimezobi Wago to have an update on the marketplace. Thank you so much, Juliana Olanyinka from our London studios. Let me talk to Jumoke Olaniyan, who is the Vice President in charge of market architecture at FMDQ Securities Exchange, to take us through what's considered to be the headline for this week. But yesterday was Thursday, the repayment of matured treasuries, and the market was a little bit sluggish at the second window. We did less than 10 billion naira at the open market operations. That's quite as small as a drop in the ocean. Jumoke, good morning. Welcome to the program. Take us through, it's been an interesting week at the FMDQ, and you are sitting right there in charge of market architecture. What's the week been like? Wrap it up for me.
Thank you very much, Boston. Once again, always a pleasure to be here. As I just heard you introduce, the week has been one where we've seen quite a bit of liquidity in the market, with the maturity of OMO auctions of about 632 billion in the system. The liquidity has been quite high, and as a result of that, what we've seen is the money market rates, especially the overnight rates and the open buyback rates, have dipped for that, about an average of 25 to 30 basis points. So we have the OBB rates now even at sub 3% in the market. As a result of that, as you'd expect, dealers are looking for where they can apply these excess liquidity. And so even though the Treasury bills market was quiet yesterday, there was quite a bullish trend in the sense of dealers looking to pick up deals in that market. But we saw a lot more activity in the bonds market. Obviously, everyone's still looking for double-digit returns in the market, which the bonds still offer. So there was quite some lots of activity in the bonds market yesterday. We expect that to continue as liquidity is still a bit high. OMO auctions yesterday only took out 190 million in the system. So the banks will continue to look for how to apply the excess liquidity that they have.
Yeah. Jumoke, I'm looking for double digits. I'm sure you're looking for it as well. If you found it, let me know. As the yield curve, let's get back to the market. And so you can enjoy the weekend for now. Jumoke Olaniyan, Vice President, Market Architecture at FMDQ Securities Exchange. And that's wrapping up the program for today and Business Morning for the week. I'm Bosin Omofaya. I will see you again on Monday.